Good morning, everybody. Welcome to MUFC versus everybody. Wanted to try something a little different today, just for fun, right? I wanted to try live and see how things went. Let me know what you think of that. Let me know if you want to try to do more live streams in the morning, get more involved, share your thoughts, interact a little bit. I would like it. I'm sure maybe you guys would like it too. So I'm Sean. Welcome back. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe today while you're here. It really helps the channel, really helps us get more of you involved, and really lets me know what you guys think. Maybe you are like, I can't stand this guy. Why bother? Why do we need another United fan channel? I don't know why, but it's fun. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. So let's dive right in with the morning roundup. First things first, obviously everybody probably saw yesterday that United have announced some news regarding our recruitment staff rebuild. So as per a tweet directly from the club, from United, Jason Wilcox is set to start as Manchester United's technical director with immediate effect. He's involved in our plans for the summer transfer window. He will work on recruitment and the academy, and he's a key figure of our future structure alongside Dan Ashworth and Omar Barada. Southampton have also confirmed this as well. Obviously, we brought him from Southampton after a bit of negotiations. So Southampton have tweeted that they've reluctantly agreed to allow Wilcox to join United. Seems a bit salty, in my opinion, but that's okay. I mean, I'm sure they're not too happy. The same as Newcastle are probably not too happy. Same as City probably weren't too happy, but we're moving and we're assembling a squad behind the scenes to help us assemble a squad on the pitch that suits the style of play, the culture, the philosophy we want moving forward. Hopefully we're working on assembling a squad that isn't just filled with, the quote shirt sellers or the individuals that like the Glazers have always kind of looked to, that they thought would just be the next big thing. But it is what it is, right? That's what I always say. So adding to this, James Ducker of the Telegraph has said that Omar Barada, who is still on gardening leave technically, right, until July, then he'll take over as our CEO. Jason has said that Barada has been influential in the Wilcox appointment. So that's good. Our potential new CEO already kind of making moves behind the scenes. Ducker adds that Barada has been busy doing work behind the scenes as he prepares for his United role. So I don't know how much of that is legal. Honestly, I don't know how much of that is even a huge deal, right? I guess it's good that he's doing work behind the scenes, but I mean, he's doing his job. That's what his job is, as Roy Keane, has always kind of put out there regarding players. He's doing his job. So it's good news. I like I've tweeted before when it came to like Wilcox, Ashworth, Barada. Those to me are much more important than any one or two or three or four players, because it's going to set us up long term. It can be difficult right now with the way City are moving, and some other clubs that United fans, it's been a decade of just disappointment. And you like the alliteration, I do too. We want something to show for it. I would argue that we did get a trophy last year. We did finish third, and we have a very reasonable shot at an FA Cup this season. So it's nothing to sneeze at. But I get it. People want the return of United to what we once were. I get it. But so much has been neglected that we've just been relying on Fergie for so long, and then we were just relying on single managers or single players to fix things, and it's just been papering over the cracks. And honestly, you could say papering over the cracks, but that only works when it works, and it hasn't really worked. So we've got some trophies sporadically in there, and great, we love to get the trophies, but every single thing, there's a reason that these managers have only stuck around for a few years. And that's just because the structure is not there. So we're putting up a roof and we're painting the walls and we're putting furniture in a house that doesn't even have a foundation. It just doesn't work. So, but it's good that we're starting to make some moves. Hopefully we're not going to delay Ashworth too much longer. On that note, United have yet to reach to an agreement with Newcastle regarding Ashworth, but the talks are still ongoing. We talked a little bit about that the other day. Supposedly, I guess the main hurdle has just been Newcastle trying to get their new person in, trying to get Ashworth's replacement. So we'll see how that goes. They did just get Ashworth not that long ago, so I'm sure they weren't planning on having to identify and bring in someone new yet. But this is football. It moves pretty fast. And so hopefully we can get that wrapped up before the end of the season as well. There's been a bit of noise as far as manager news goes. Obviously, it's a lot of this noise is predicated on Ten Hag being replaced in the summer, but Zinedine Zidane has popped up in the news once again as far as possibly joining United as our next manager. I think some of the rumors that have popped up in the last few days have been mostly about him taking English lessons. I think that Emmanuel Petit has said something to that effect. I'm pretty sure I remember maybe like a year ago or so, maybe more, that the same thing about Zidane taking English lessons. Do you guys remember that? In any case, French outlet L'Equipe are also reporting that Zidane is keeping an eye on the manager situation at United. I'm going to be honest, I don't really see this happening. We've already been told that Zidane and his partner don't really want to go to England. Obviously, Zidane is not that fluent in English. I don't know what has changed on their end. If this is true, I don't understand what has changed. If Zidane were to return to management, I do think Bayern Munich would be a much better fit than United. If you look at what he took over at Real Madrid, and it was similar to Madrid. Bayern Munich are stacked with talent. They've got Harry Kane, they've got guys like Joshua Kimmich, Jamal Musiala, Gnabry, Coman, all these guys. They're stacked with talent, similar to Madrid, and they can bring in any manager that any player, that a manager needs, just similar to Madrid. Now, I will credit Zidane for not really making a ton of Galactico signings, but again, that team at Madrid was stacked, and Zidane, he does what the simplest thing as far as a manager needs to do. You play your best players in their best positions, and you play through their best strengths, and that's what he did at Madrid. Wasn't anything fancy. It was 4-3-3. Cruz, Modric, Casemiro, Vinny, Benzema, Bale, Ronaldo, all these guys, just let them do their thing. And it worked. I mean, you can't argue with back-to-back Champions League. You can't argue with any of that. I don't know, though, if he can manage his way through this situation at United. United are in a bit of a shambles at the moment. I don't know if Zidane's ever had to take on a rebuild or anything. I don't know if he would want that stress. I think he would just want to manage, want to do what he needs to do, and not have to deal with all this extra headache. And so I think that, again, the Munich job probably be a better fit if he was, in fact, considering a return to management. If I were him, he has every right to be as picky as he wants, right? Going out the way he did at Madrid on his terms, winning all those Champions Leagues. I mean, I wouldn't want to do anything that would risk that if I were him. So we'll see how it goes. In other transfer news, United's hunt for a left back could be in for a bit of an unexpected turn. So Luke Shaw's injury record and Tyrell Malacia facing a long road to recovery. The left back has become a priority position, obviously. We've talked about it before. I did that video covering left back targets and then some of my options. If you haven't yet seen that video, go back, watch it, give it a like, let me know your thoughts. However, United Muppeteers has reported that United are actually considering taking a closer look at youngster Harry Amas before making any final decisions on the left back position. Obviously, Amas has recently been taking part in first team training. He traveled with the first team recently and everything just to get some of that experience. And he does look head and shoulders, top of the class in terms of the youngsters coming through Goes and Academy products. Could be another academy product coming through the door. He does, like I said, next in line to kind of potentially make his way into the first team, maybe starting next season. So could be interesting. I don't know if you'd be able to see enough from him between now and the transfer window to kind of make that call. I do still think we need a left back personally, someone who's first team ready. Someone who's played first team. We've talked a lot about guys like Melvin Bard, Hugo Bueno at Wolves, and Bjorn Meyer would be one of my top picks as well. I know we've been linked with Miguel Gutierrez as in La Liga, so a lot of options out there. Leif Davis was the one that I wanted, yeah. So we'll see what happens there, but it is nice to see that maybe we are potentially looking inward in some regards for depth. I think even someone like Amas does raise the floor of our depth if he comes in the same way Manu has when he came in, but we'll see. So continuing on transfers this morning, as our search for a center back continues, Spanish outlet Mundo Deportivo is reporting that United are one of several clubs interested in Nottingham Forest defender Murillo. And you guys watch Forest this season. Murillo's looked really good. I think he's been the team of the week once. Plays on the left side, left-footed. He's 21-year-old Brazilian. He only recently joined Forest this summer from Corinthians in Brazil, but he has, again, been super, super impressive this season. The left-footed thing is a bit of a hitch, kind of like Jared Branthwaite. It could be a sticking point if this were a legitimate kind of rumor, because we have Licha, and Ten Hag does prefer right-footed defenders on the right. So unless Murillo would be okay being a rotation option, or we're okay spending a lot of money on a backup, or forcing Ten Hag to play someone on the right that he doesn't necessarily want to play on the right, I'd probably just chalk this one up to paper talk at the moment. I know Forest have been in a bit of financial troubles, so it's kind of low-hanging fruit. Any of these clubs like Everton, Forest, who need to balance the books a little bit, it's a bit of a low-hanging fruit to say like they need to sell players. Yes, it's true, but you kind of pick any target, any club like that, and throw it out there, and there'd be, again, just a shred of truth to it potentially, just about the situation, not about the specifics. So plus, you put United's name in there and it's going to generate clicks, right? Agents want their client to get a new contract, link them to United. Article wants more clicks, throw United in there, say United are looking at a player. It's just, it is what it is. It's part and parcel now for us. We're the biggest club in the world. We draw clicks, we get views, we sell papers, or we sell papers when papers were a thing. But this is what it is. If you guys, any Forest fans out there, let us know what you think about Murillo. Oh, guess what? Frankie de Jong. Link to him again, right? I know, insert Grand Theft Auto meme here, right? Not much in this, but it's fun to share anyway, because it's just funny these days. So journalist Mateo Moreto is reporting that Barcelona are open to selling the Dutch midfielder this summer, and they'll be asking for between 60 to 70 million euros for him. That was roughly, I think, the same price that we had when we were first linked to him as well. Obviously, the big sticking point when United were in for him before was the unpaid wages that Barcelona owed Frankie de Jong. The La Liga clubs, especially like Barcelona, they do have these loyalty clauses built in, which come with inherent bonuses. We saw that with Neymar. It was a whole big thing when Neymar went to PSG that he waited until after the date of the loyalty bonus kicked in and then announced it. So he was getting his bonus. He and Barcelona were in that legal battle for a long time. I'd imagine it's a similar situation with de Jong. He can't really try to make moves. He can't really do this. And maybe he'll lose out on some of those wages. I know people say he rejected us. And to some degree, I mean, why would he? He probably doesn't want to leave Barcelona. He's a Dutch midfielder playing for Barcelona, following in the steps of Koeman, Johan Cruyff. I'm sure he doesn't want to leave, but at the same time, he's not going to speak out against Barcelona if they owe him a lot of money, especially with the financial situation they're in. You never know if you're going to be getting that money, honestly. So we'll keep an eye on him, but I don't see, Barcelona do need money. selling DeJong and getting his wages off the books would be a big help. But I think it's a non-starter. I think that ship sailed a long time ago. I think that some of the midfielders that we've been heavily linked with, some of the midfielders I've seen, could be brilliant alternatives. Like João Neves could be the perfect alternative, in my opinion. He looks like one of the next top talents in midfield, to be honest. So you can keep an eye on it if you want to. I wouldn't put much stock in it, but wanted to end a little bit on kind of a, not transfers, not updates, but just interesting, for people like me, if you are a bit of a book nerd like I am. I mean, you can see all this football books right here. If you do like to read a little bit, I don't want to get into a long conversation about Donny van de Beek. Those conversations do tend to get a bit heated, especially on YouTube and social media. I think it's just a lot of people wrote Donny van de Beek off very quickly when he joined United. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wrote Donny van de Beek off very quickly when he joined United. I think that people forget Donny came on and scored on his debut. I think if that were an academy product or an English player, I think a lot of people would still be bigging them up years later. So keep that in mind. But for those who enjoy a bit of light reading, Carl Anka just wrote an interesting article for The Athletic on Donny. Those who know me or who've been following me know that I am a big fan of Donny's. I do think it was a bit criminal the way he was treated when he signed. He was easily one of our best midfielders when he joined United. You can tell he just was levels ahead of players like McTominay or even Fred. And to some extent, I would argue even Bruno when it came to just reading of the game and vision. Constantly making these runs, constantly drawing defenders out of space. And if you look back at the way Ajax played when Ten Hag and Donny were still there, those were the exact same runs that Ten Hag had a lot of his players making. The problem is you go from a team like Ajax where everybody is on that page to a team like United at the time under Ole where nobody was on that page and nobody was doing that. Like you will look out of place and you will not get the ball because United players just didn't play like that. So I mentioned before that I used to write for StreadyNews.com. Well, my first piece for them was actually about Donny van de Beek. So this was last season though when I wrote that. So the article was more about how Donny deserved a move away this past summer to kind of rejuvenate his career. You should check that out sometime. Check out Steady News in general. They're a good website, a lot of good writers. But yeah, go check out Carl Anka's article about Donny in The Athletic. It's a fun little read. Just hasn't worked out for Donny at United like I've talked about in other videos. A lot of reasons for that. Injuries, obviously not getting minutes to start. And then I think people will say, well, Ten Hag doesn't want to play him. I think by the time Ten Hag came in, Donny was already had his heart set on leaving United. I think he wants to just kind of wash that taste out of his mouth and move on, rejuvenate his career. Hasn't worked out too well at Eintracht Frankfurt. And people will point out, like he's not playing well. You don't tend to get a ton of minutes as a loan signing. It just doesn't, is what it is. And all sorts of situations could contribute to that. If you remember James Garner, when he was on loan at Watford, he was doing bits early in the season. Watford changed their manager, and then Garner couldn't really get any minutes after that. There's all sorts of reasons loanees don't get to play. You remember Donny was on loan. Everton got injured. And people are quick to bash Donny for Everton, but people also just completely ignore that his manager at the time was Frank Lampard. So we want to criticize Frank Lampard for all these things, but he got it right with Donny. The same way people criticize Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for all these different things that eventually led to him getting sacked. But he was right about Donny van de Beek, right? So again, this isn't me just blindly coming to Donny's defense. This is me saying there was a lot of extenuating factors, and there's nothing wrong with saying the player, it's the wrong move at the wrong time for the player. And I think that's ultimately what it was. So in any case, go check out The Athletic, Carl Anka's recent piece on Donny van de Beek, and let me know what you think. That is pretty much the wrap up today for the Rooms. Not a whole lot going on. I know there's been some stuff about Anthony Martial. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about talking about someone who's pretty much out the door Do we really care that much about where, Martial is going to end up? I don't have anything personal against Martial. You can't really consider him a United player at the moment. He's barely played. He's clearly not doesn't want to be here anymore, and that's fine. I don't think that we want to continue with him. He's on big wages. He's just not done enough, in my opinion. The talent is there, right? I think again, it's just he's kind of checked out and he's already kind of looking for his next move, and that's fine. He's entitled to that. It's not his fault. Things didn't work out. It is what it is. We'll always have that debut against Liverpool, right? And so, what else can you say? That is going to do it for me. Anybody? Nobody in the live chat. That's okay. We're a small channel still, so we're growing. But it was fun to give this a shot and learn a little bit about how the live stream on YouTube works. So happy to do that again. I might do some more of these in the future. Maybe do a live stream following the match tomorrow, if you guys are interested in that. There's probably going to be a lot of live streams going on after that, though, so maybe I'll just hold off on that and don't get lost in the noise. But yeah, let me know what you think, and let me know if you'd like to do some more live streams, get involved a little bit more, and we will go from there. That'll do it for me until tomorrow, unless any breaking news happens today. But I will see you guys after the match, and again, wherever you guys are watching that from, be safe, enjoy it, and let me know where you're watching it from, who you're watching it with, and let me know your score predictions. I'll see you in the next one. Later.